Oh my god!
Who? Her husband.
Your lover pretending to be my lover while my lover was pretending to be your lover while another lover was pretending to be a cook and another lover was the neighbour's dog.
That's not really nice to say about George.
Oh, well.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you get a podcast. Welcome to another bonus episode. Today, we've got something very special for you indeed.
Very special. Those of you may remember one of our bonus episodes in which we talked about Danny's appearance in All Shook Up the Musical at his local theatre.
At the local theatre Donington.
Well, there's a little thing at the end of that where we had a little discussion about whether or not I would go down.
Shall we clip that now?
Yeah, we'll clip it. We'll clip it. It plays on my mind to do it sometimes, but that part of me is a lot smaller than it used to be. But it's.
I understand. I understand as well why you haven't done it since. Like, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to start now. Like, with the talks that we've had in private. Like, I know why you stepped away from it for a bit, but I do think genuinely think you have it, and I think if you would get back into it, it'd be amazing. I think it would be really cool to see what
happens. Maybe we'll have one of these episodes the other way around someday.
Maybe that would be. I'd love that. I really would. I honestly love that.
So you've just seen, we were discussing about whether I should go down.
Yeah,
and I did.
As soon as we stopped recording that, as soon as we finished, you were saying to me, I remember this, when's their next when's the next show going to be on? And I said, well, funny enough, it was that week.
Yeah, so we recorded on Saturday and it was the Tuesday, was the Thursday. So it was like, 5 days later.
Yeah. So we kind of danced around the issue. So this episode is on our joint performance in the comedy farce Don't Dress for Dinner at the Little Theatre Donington from the 16th to the 18th of April 2026.
So let's start at the beginning.
We saw myself and Mr. L reunited on stage for the first time since 2019.
Yeah, 6 or 7 years. It was though.
It was. Oh, I can't.
It was.
I can't even.
It was 7. But it's obviously. Yeah, we did that fairy tale fiasco in 2019, but this is the first proper show we've actually done together.
Yeah.
Because that one was a last minute, they threw us in like a month before and said, look, just help them out with some extra roles.
Just fill in the blanks.
Because Greece was never happening. So this is the first time we've properly been able to do a show together.
Yeah.
And I think we'll start from the beginning with the open day.
I don't know, I
feel like we should talk about the open day.
I think we should start almost, because we were coming to this show at 2 different points.
That is true, yes.
I think it's because you were coming at it from, you'd not done a show for years at that point. So that kind of
mid 2022. I did Annie with my school, which was fun, and then I never did anything since. Partly due to commutes to and from work. Obviously, I didn't have a car. I was like 2 hours there on bus, 2 hours back on bus. Didn't have time, didn't have energy, didn't have an easy way of getting anywhere that wouldn't require yet another bus. So partly it was that, and partly it was, as I think we've discussed before, like I just felt like I'd passed my time on it.
Yeah,
and I wasn't going to do it.
I mean, if you remember, we did that theatre podcast on the Clack Chronicles.
Yes, we did the theatre podcast.
I think it was, and it was like a year after. And I would always ask you, would you ever get back into it? And I remember you were saying,
no,
not looking likely.
No.
Fast forward to 3 years later,
he pulled me out of retirement.
Yeah, but yeah, so you were kind of coming from it in a sense of like you had not performed in
anything for a long time,
for a while. So it's near 4 years now.
Yes, it was. It was end of June, start July. Like the last day of June, first day of July of 2022 was my last show. This is
until this.
This is April 2026.
Yeah.
Whereas you were coming in straight off of having been the leading man in their music.
And I think this is the interesting thing. So obviously, because COVID had a big impact on, I think, both of us performers. And I think for a while we kind of went in different directions. You very much, I think you felt that you'd lost it a little bit.
Yeah.
We've discussed this, but I think we have to.
Yeah, especially after I did that show with Pauline Quirk Academy. I did that show at Shaftesbury Theatre, and I had a lot of issues with that show. Not with anyone in the show or the production of it. I had my own issues with it. And then I went into Annie, and I just about managed, but that was at the sacrifice of another show I was doing with PQA where I had to tag out and we had to switch with someone else halfway through my role. Yeah. So I sort of did the first half of it, and even then I forgot half of it because I just wasn't there because it was at the same time as A-levels.
Yeah.
So I had A-levels, I had that show, I had Annie, I had a few other things going on in my life. It was a little too much for me.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to put my eggs in the basket of Annie because I like this more, and this is the last thing, and then I think I'm done because this just isn't working for me anymore. So I stepped away, and obviously you kept doing it. You went to different places.
I mean, I was very much like, once COVID had kind of ended, I was very much like, I realized how easily it could be taken away.
Yes.
I think. I realized how easily that opportunity could just be like snapped away from you. So I was very much like just doing it, just keep on doing shows once I came out. So the first show I did out of COVID was Macbeth at the end of 2021. And funny enough, actually, we were speaking about it, aside from like exam pieces that I had to do, that was the last time I'd done a straight-faced play until now. Because from that point onwards, obviously a few months later in early 2022 was Grease, which I performed at like a public theatre, not school. And then it was a lot of like a show at school, a show with companies and whatnot. And then when I finished school, I moved to another company over sort of Shropshire way, which when I did Bonnie and Clyde.
Yes.
That's when I did that in October of 2024. And that was the start of this new era, I would say.
Yeah.
Where I kind of was able to network with people. Because for me, what I found is that the Amtram community in Shropshire is very, very big. It spreads wide and vast. And that was like my first step into a larger world, to quote Obi-Wan Kenobi. But it very much was. It very much felt like that. And then Legally Blonde came along, the next show with Tadlop. And, Tadlop was the group that it was. And that was my first principal role, playing Warner in that. That was a big thing. And a lot of the people from Donington came to watch Legally Blonde, and they saw me as Warner.
Oh, yeah.
And so with that, I decided to go for All Shook Up, which was a sort of, as Legally Blonde finished, All Shook Up started. And people, some people had seen me as Warner, which was great. And so I did All Shook Up, and then obviously got Chad. That was kind of very much the biggest role I'm likely ever going to get. Yeah, for the time being, unless something else.
Obviously, lead role, and obviously it was Elvis.
Very much
well,
like it could have been better suited to what I could do.
Yeah,
and I was very much to the point with All Shook Up, like everybody was, it felt like everybody was seeing what I could do. I was like, there's no hiding now, I don't see myself as like some fucking celebrity. I don't see that. But it was the kind of role where it's like you can't hide. Everybody knows you, and people were praising me so much, and it felt overwhelming. I was like, wow, I can't believe I've done this. But I was also immensely proud of All Shook Up. But where I'm coming from this is that I felt like I couldn't really top All Shook Up. I couldn't really try and top that. And so what I wanted to do was to do something different, go in a different direction. And the great thing about Little Theatre Donington is that they do offer musicals, but pantos and plays as well. They offer that variety. And so I was aware that the Dungeon was coming up in the calendar for the year.
Meanwhile, I had no idea what the hell this play was.
Yeah, I mean,
this was a fun one to walk into. I had no idea.
But I was aware that this was coming along, so I was speaking to Neil, who was our director for this.
Yes, I think most of the crew that we were working with are going to probably watch this episode. So shout out Neil, great director. Thank you for running the show.
Love you, buddy. So I obviously knew Neil from like the theatre and whatnot.
Yes.
I spoke to him a few times before. Not like loads, but I knew him.
Yeah.
And was kind of asking him when's this all open, when's like the introduction for the show. And it was that Thursday after we recorded the bonus episode.
Yeah.
And so you were like, I'll come along, to see what it's like. And so went along, and that brings us to the introduction night.
Yes.
What was your first impression?
Well, at first I was, there was all sorts of people I didn't know, so I was a little worried.
And it was just me. It was just me.
It was only you that I knew, but we instantly got into it. He pulled up the slideshow of what the play was.
Yeah, gave me his vision for it.
And even then, that did not explain just how crazy this play was going
to be.
No,
it really didn't.
It's genuinely wild.
Yeah.
But then we started doing an open read of the script.
Yeah.
We just started from the beginning, and then we did a little bit, and then we stopped and did a bit later on, and then, and we started reading, and he was like, okay, so first scene, Bernard and Jacqueline.
Yeah.
So
I volunteered for Bernard.
He volunteered for Bernard, or Bernard as his wife calls him.
Actually, we should probably explain what the play... No, we'll
just really briefly, I'll give a synopsis. Bernard owns a house. Jacqueline's his wife. Robert's his best friend, who's also sleeping with Jacqueline. Meanwhile, Suzanne is Bernard's mistress. However, there's a cook called Suzette, and she has a husband called George.
And a whole lot of hijinks ensue.
Yes, two Susies.
That's about as best.
That's as basic as we can explain it for now.
Because oh my god, it is wild.
It's wild.
It is a wild.
But so it starts with Bernard and Jacqueline, and they're talking about the fact that Bernard's, arranging a dinner for Robert to come over and whatever. And so he decides to read in as Bernard, being the leading man he is. He just took the first role that was on the thing. So you went first because I wasn't going to lean. I wasn't going to jump in.
The reason I went for Bernard is that because he gave like character profiles as well.
Yes, he did.
And Bernard had that kind of like this sort of bumbling like Basil Fawlty-esque kind of vibe. And I was like,
I think on one of the nights someone said Basil Fawlty in the audience.
And that's like,
so you got it in the end,
Yeah. But that appealed to me most, I think.
Yeah. But like, I didn't really know too much what I wanted to do, but I wasn't being the first one to read when I was new. That I didn't feel confident.
But that's the thing, because I said I just come back off Ultra Cup.
Yeah.
I was very much in a position where I was like, you know what, let me lead the charge, and then you guys, it will give you the incentive to like join the journey. Because that's the thing, I was introducing you to this, just like the people with Ultra Cup had to introduce me to these guys. Yeah, I had to be that for you this time.
And to be fair, I think with the open day we had completely different people. Like I think the only other person who was there besides us two is I think Katie was there, but
I think Lisa was there as well.
Was she there?
Yeah,
I don't remember, but different people read different parts as well. But yeah, so you read Bernard, and then Jacqueline comes in, and then a little bit later Robert comes in, and they were like, "Who wants to do it?" And there weren't many guys there. There was you and me and like one other person.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "I'll do it." I was really cautious about it, but then we started doing the scene,
and it
clicked immediately.
It was like we'd never left.
It was 2019 all over again. Just we're a bit older now and a bit better at what we do now.
Yeah, a bit more refined.
Yes, but yeah, like we just clicked immediately back into it, and obviously we were reading the script for the first time, but we had lines that we would say in tandem and we would synchronize perfectly first time. We had lines where we bounced back and off each other. And there was no hesitation. Like we bounced those lines immediately, like fluid. You know, it was.
I mean, I remember once we did that read through. I was like, afterwards, I went to the loo and Neil came in and he was like, "So, no chemistry then?" And it was like, it just hit it off right there. And so those are the parts we ended up auditioning for, and we were very fortunate to get them.
Yes. So we did the audition, and my audition was this nasty monologue that I'll get back to later.
We'll get to that, yeah.
But I must have botched it at least 5 times because I was trying to read it because the script was so small. I was like, I kept jumping lines. I was like, wait, which Susie is whose what? What?
Oh, that's a whole. That was
a whole thing. Yeah. But yeah, as soon as we finished that one, because you did yours first, and then I did mine. As soon as I finished, she came up to both of us and said, "You got the roles."
Yeah, and I thought he was joking. I was like,
no, he was serious. At that point, I realized that he decided on the open day that it was basically going to be us because we'd sold it.
But I mean, I don't like to think of that. I very much am. You know, I like to like go for it and just like be confident with it, and I think maybe that confidence is what sold him. But
a little thing called confidence.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
Yes, but
I think maybe the confidence did sell him, and I think the chemistry that we have anyway. I think that probably did help. But I also maintain that I'm never going to go into an audition assuming that I will actually get it. You know,
I usually never do, but I felt very strong about this one with the way that we ran it. But it was interesting because obviously, as Neil was saying to us today, that obviously this is a play that usually consists of more
middle-aged, like sort of middle-aged.
Yeah, and so people were thinking that it was really weird. He was casting us younger people, obviously 19 and 22.
Yeah,
at the time probably you were 19 at the time, but I was 21. I think.
Were you? I think
is this October or is it
November?
November. Oh, I was just 22. I was just 22. Yeah. But yeah, But
so, even still, it's
so we're really young for the roles. But he saw what we had going, and he took that chance on us, and it worked.
Yeah,
and
I hope we've done it proud. But
and I think we did good.
If we've managed to prove people wrong in that sort of sense, then I'm proud of that.
Yeah, if people expected that you can't have like people this young performing those kind of roles adequately. We did.
Yeah, and I think I can kind of get it because obviously I know that not every 19 and 22-year-old are the same.
No,
and I know that definitely you need to have that sense of gravitas.
Yes.
You need to have it. You really need to have the energy, the chemistry, and the stamina to do these kind of roles where there's a lot going on. There's a lot of lines.
Tell me about stamina. I got thrown around, dancing, falling everywhere.
I got whacked in the face.
Yeah, tell me about stamina.
I mean, that's plenty for actual show notes, but yes. Yeah, we did. Yeah, apparently it was a bit of a bold risk from him to cast us.
It paid though.
Yeah, but I think the cast was a bit younger than what normally is for this play.
Yeah,
but as the thing, ultimately it is acting.
Even like Suzette, of course, she was 18 for the show.
Yeah,
and I had people saying that she was very talented and probably one of the better people on stage because of. So even though she's 18, she still played the role really well. So age doesn't have to be a barrier for roles. Like, if they can play the role, you can play the role.
If you can exude... I mean, obviously, if you looked baby-faced.
Yeah.
Like, if we look like what we did in...
If we look like what we did in Fairy Tale Fiasco,
then I would get it.
But and it would be even worse with, obviously, with the cast that we have if we looked that young as well. Yeah.
But I think that's the thing. If you can exude that kind of confidence, I'm just expecting you to... burst up with the confidence.
Confidence, confidence.
But if you do, that can definitely make you seem older than
Yes.
you are. You know.
Oh, so I tried to add to it by growing all this out to try and age myself up. I mean, I'm supposed to be 35.
I mean, I did, but I've shaved it now.
Yes,
I couldn't be asked.
But also, the suits helped you look older as well. I think the suits really kind of
very much like a sort of retro dressing because the style of the play
we went for 80s
because the play was written I think in the early 90s. I think
I'm not sure.
I think the play was originally written in the early 90s by Marc Cavaletti.
Yes,
and then adapted into it was originally a French play.
Yes,
like French
Pyjama Pussies.
But then it was adapted into English by Robin Horden.
Yes,
adapted it into the English production. I think in the 2010s, I believe. Oh no!
It was adapted and then opened in 1991.
The English version was adapted in the 90s, but the original play was much older than that from France.
Yes,
but yeah, the aesthetic we went for was very much that sort of 1980s, like British sort of sitcom kind of vibe,
kind of like ugly clothes.
Yeah,
like
I had the
nasty color schemes.
Yeah, like
kind of really garish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it was like the sort of like the green velvet smoking jacket, cravat.
Whereas I had
slick back hair.
I had like purple suit and everything.
Yeah, the fedora. Sorry.
The fedora. Yeah. Initially, it was the bowler hat, and then he gave me his fedora.
Yeah,
the director gave me his fedora, and that worked well. With it. And, it was 3-piece suit and everything.
For like the girls, it was like like Casey, particularly like crimped.
Yes,
hair, like Madonna-esque,
Yeah.
But it works. It gives it a very distinct style.
Yes.
And I really like the kind of aesthetic of it.
Yes.
But that was really cool that he had that kind of idea of, that's, I think Noah was a really great director, and he had those really clear ideas and really clear vision of what he wanted to go for. But he was also really great with allowing us to collaborate and to really work with him on what we felt was like, what we felt our character should be.
Yeah, we helped make the character our own a little bit.
Yeah, we put a lot of ourselves into the characters. And
yes.
And he was really willing to sort of work with us.
Obviously, especially with us two, we put quite a bit of ourselves in to add to the chemistry. Of course.
Yeah, I think there is definitely an element of like almost art meets life. These old friends haven't seen each other for a while.
Yeah,
getting back.
It was like perfectly written.
I think there's kind of like, but it's again, that's the thing with acting. You take from your own experience, and you imbue those feelings into the character. Yeah, and I think that very much helped with with that, but
because I mean, roles of playing best friends.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been friends for a long time. I haven't seen each other for a bit,
but they're getting back into the game.
And my character works in finance. I work in finance. It's.
I'm not. What
I don't know what your character does.
Yeah. What do
you do?
Dress for dinner.
Oh, that's the thing is I find it really funny. The original French name, Pyjama Pussies, pajamas for 6. Only 4 people are in their pajamas.
Yeah.
Don't dress for dinner. Multiple people go and get dressed for dinner, including Jacqueline.
Yeah.
And then the one thing they don't show is the dinner.
But it kind of reminds me of like the sort of Reservoir Dogs. Like they don't show the heist; they just show the before and after.
Yeah. It's a very interesting play. But yeah, so auditions happened. We started doing it, and because we still had the panto going on.
I've got the
Alice in Wonderland was still going on in the theater.
Yes. So the auditions were November. We were cast in November.
We did some rehearsals through December and January. Where we went into the bar.
We're in the bar, so we
kind of set our own boundaries of a stage.
Yeah. We sort of blocked it very roughly.
Yes.
Had kind of like used the chairs as like the sofa and the
got
set
used to the lines. And whatever. I swear, every time we read any scene of the script, we laughed over and over because every time it was so funny.
Those initial read-throughs were fucking hysterical.
Even later on, there were still jokes that people weren't picking up till like Suzanne didn't get one of the jokes until like a month before the show. It was So there's a little bit where I have like a little bit of a kerfuffle with Suzette where we're getting really close to each other, and Jacqueline bursts in,
and then I walk in,
and he walks in with his carrot in hand, and I'm just
that was
my idea.
Purely my idea.
So he just bursts in with his carrot in hand. Jacqueline comes in and sees me with this other woman when I'm supposed to be her lover, and I'm just like, she's come already. Which is obviously a dirty joke, but Suzanne only just got it like a month ago. Right. Even though we've been working on this thing for like 6 months.
Yeah, brilliant.
But so every time we spot new things, and there were new little jokes and things that were still funny over and over. It never got old. No, it's brilliant show, honestly. But,
I mean, the bit with when George comes in at the end. There was that one time where I just completely broke. I don't know what.
He was all up in your face, getting angry and shit, and everything. You were like,
I don't know what happened. It's because I was going for like the really scared them, and I was like, no. And then I just completely broke when he finished his line. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so rehearsals, and then after Alice finished, we moved into the theatre and we started building the set.
Because that's very much the case with some shows at Donaldson, it's 4 shows a year, but some of them will overlap.
Yeah.
So All Shook Up, luckily, kind of didn't overlap with Alice because they did All Shook Up, and then that week is when they started for Alice in Wonderland rehearsals. Whereas for us, we started. I think Neil started relatively early for a play.
Yes, because it was such a heavy play to work with.
But he was
wanted to start early.
He was very keen to start early, so we started in November. So we had to work in the bar.
And it was good that we started early.
Yeah,
I don't think we would have managed if we didn't start when we did.
Probably not. I think it was beneficial. But yeah, once February came around, when the Alice in Wonderland set was taken down, end of January. That's when we got on stage, and then obviously over time we got more bits of the set. The set was built. Credit to Ian for his work on the set, and also as well, Vicky, stage manager, for all the behind the scenes stuff, and obviously we got Annika, Lee, CJ, Darcy, all
the techs and backstage support and everything.
You guys are legends, and you can't do it without the backstage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But obviously, we've got more stories about certain tech things to come later.
We certainly have,
But
actually, the set, the actual living.
Because it's a nice set, actually.
Yeah, because obviously the whole set is it's just set in the living room.
Yes, the entire thing takes place in the living room.
And so
there are other rooms that are off stage that we've got doors to.
And
so
you sort of go off stage.
So we've got the front door, we've got the back left where it's like open, that's like upstairs. We got bedroom 2, which is the piggery, because it was a converted farm building.
Yeah.
We got the front.
Before we converted it.
Yes, before we converted it. We got the front bedroom this side, that was the cow shed, and then behind that was the dining room, kitchen, and then the dining room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of use your imagination.
Kitchen's the old dairy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like a lot of using your imagination.
Yeah, but the only room any audience would see was just
obviously there's the front door as well.
Yes, and the front door was at the back,
yeah.
in the centre. And then the only room you would see, except for the occasional glimpse out the front door, was the lounge.
Yeah.
And there was a sofa, a chaise lounge, and a bar. Yeah, and a gong at the back.
Yeah.
The massive gong.
You need to be careful what you say, because we've slipped up with what we
said. The amount of times we talked about the massive dong. Oh
dear Lord!
Because at first we got this tiny little handheld gong. Yeah. And it was like, oh, that's a tiny dong.
Bit underwhelming, isn't it? Yeah.
and then we got CJ's massive gong.
I'm really scared you're going to slip up. I'm really scared you're going to slip up.
But yeah, that was So we had the set.
Yeah.
We had glasses and drinks and everything, and soda sprayer.
Yeah. Eventually, when we were rehearsing, we had water and apple juice.
And cold tea.
Yeah, stuff like that. No, I think on the actual shows it was just apple juice.
One of them was cold tea because I drank it and it was nasty.
Yeah, don't drink cold tea. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. I was trying to get my vodka, but I ran out.
You silly Billy. He's so silly. We're all broad-minded here. We were born yesterday, weren't we?
No, but you'll die today.
So this is the thing. These lines are stuck in. So
we know, sometimes, we were just messaging each other on Instagram one time. We just started reeling lines to each other.
That's a good way to get them in your head. But that's the thing. So this play is incredibly wordy.
Very wordy.
So the script's about 120 pages, wasn't it?
128 pages.
Something like that.
It's a 2-hour play.
And as I say, very wordy. And also, obviously, we were discussing with Lee, our prompt.
Yes.
It's very conversational.
Yes.
And it's very much, a lot of the dialogue is in response to what has come before. Mm. So even if it's trying to get it absolutely bang on. Because if you don't, even the smallest little lines that might seem insignificant or throwaway, it makes it flow. Mm. And if you don't get it, it kind of, the conversation doesn't really make sense.
However,
and that was so tricky.
It had the leeway where certain lines you could paraphrase if you didn't get them exact. Depending
yeah, you could just twist it in the moment.
So we had certain things that were pivotal lines where it was, you need to hit this exact word, otherwise the next thing doesn't work.
Yeah, and especially about exposition as well.
Yeah.
Particularly for me towards the start. There's a lot of
exposition, comic relief.
Yay!
That's from my first day as well.
Oh, yeah.
Class act. But but then there were certain lines that you had to hit exact words so that the next word sentence made sense, or so that something later on made sense. But there were certain lines where you could just about say anything as long as it was in. But some lines were just like, or it doesn't matter if I said really by accident.
Yeah. Or why not? Or the amount of times I had to say why not.
Same.
But that's
I had to do that 6 times. I did it 3 times with you, and I did it 3 times with Jacqueline.
How many?
6.
Also, you kept doing the 6-7 thing. You kept doing
Yeah, so one time we were doing a scene.
You kept doing it.
Give me the line about simple.
But it's so simple.
Simple, it's lunatic. And I did that by accident. And he was like, why did you do 6-7? And I was like, oh. But then I realized, no, if I keep doing that, the line is stuck with the movement that I know. But simple, and I know that instantly goes into the rest of the line. But also, I've never forgotten that line since.
But also in the audience, don't think it didn't go unnoticed.
Yeah, some of the younger audience members noticed.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
And they were like, why is he doing 6-7? Or they were thinking in their head, 6-7.
To be fair, though, in the Panther, they did do a 6-7 joke.
They did, yeah.
So
mine was more subtle.
So if I had a nickel for every time at a Donington show they did a 6-7 joke in 2026, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot. But
don't worry, I'll work it into the next play if I get into it.
Can I work it
You work it into Bake Off.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, but the thing is it was subtle, and it was something that the younger crowd would get when a lot of the young crowd might not get all the humor.
Yeah.
You know, it was a little something for them in a way.
Yeah, true.
But, you know, it helped me remember the line, as stupid as it was, because I just accidentally went like this, going, simple, not even thinking about
and
the
then
6-7.
I point it out, and it's like...
and it stuck, and that helped, because I remembered the line. I've never forgotten that line since. Every single time I get that line.
It's great.
I know as soon as you say simple, hit the 6-7, and it's the lunatic line. Easy.
It's great,
You know. But we had a few different ways of dealing with some of the exposition, like, so I worked into my character that I stammered in quite a lot of lines, because quite a lot of lines in the script I do just stammer. We're like, yeah, well, you know, you could just, you know, maybe just tell it, you know. So we know where my stammers are supposed to be. So we worked it that if I were to stammer somewhere where I'm not supposed to, he knows that means I'm forgetting a line.
Yeah.
And it's a throwaway line as well. And so that he can cover up for it by jumping in so it doesn't go dead. And then if I did miss any exposition, which I didn't, I believe, but if I did, he would have been able to work that in.
Yeah.
Because we had quite a few cases where you would have. We had quite a few cases where, you know, people have to save each other if a line gets filled because it's so wordy. And sometimes that means like a bit gets forgotten that's important. Yeah. So we try and find a way to. I really tried.
You did. You
really tried. But like, I had a scene with. I had a scene in which I was talking to Jacqueline, and we were talking about the fact that Suzette was playing a part to throw you off the set.
Yeah.
Which is what we're supposed to talk about. But she accidentally jumped a little bit to the end of, oh, that was very clever of you. And so I believe on the Thursday we missed it entirely, but on the Friday I remembered to work it in, and I said, yes, I thought it was clever, you know, to throw Bernard off the scent. Yeah. So that way it was still in there that it was a ploy to throw you off, whereas on Thursday that was left out.
I think there was a couple of times I had to do it. I remember there was one where it's when Suzanne arrives, and it's like, where were you? And she's like, there's a point where it's like we missed the bus,
yes, yeah.
And then I think there's a line a bit after when she's left the stage where I'm saying, well, you would be annoyed if you'd missed your bus, and it's like if we hadn't said that before, it wouldn't make sense why I'm saying it now.
Yes,
because how would I know?
Yeah.
You know? So it's just trying.
So sometimes we have to try and find a way just to work it in so that it makes sense.
But it still worked. Like I think it works. And
there was one bit on I think it was the Friday that I was sweating about because it was after my monologue, and there was like the four of us there.
Yeah.
You could tell it was becoming a dead zone. It was about to die. And I just very quickly had to jump to the first line I could think of that would make sense after what was said. And yeah, we missed a bit of it. But when I got off stage, you know, Vicky saw me in the wings, and she could tell I was like, phew. Yeah. And she said, Annika's just told through, it all made sense. It's fine. Good save.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the important thing. As long as it still makes sense, you've got the important stuff.
Exactly.
You know, it's not the end of the world if you miss, like, I think we missed a page. But it's not the end of the world because the important stuff was there and we didn't let it go dead.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you can maintain...
If you make it go dead, that's the worst thing you could do. Yeah. I'd much rather miss something than completely go dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because we did have one instance that on night one, and the audience picked up on it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And, you know, we wanted to make sure that didn't happen again. And that was the only time it happened. Yeah. But, you know, so it's... You know, we tried our best to try and save each other if there were cases of it might go dead or someone's forgotten something. Or even an extra line add in to give them more time. Yeah. There was one bit where I had a conversation with another of the characters where they were forgetting a line. So I quickly just threw an extra line, you know, because she's my mistress. And, you know, I gave them more time to think about it, and then they remembered it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, that way we didn't have to skip anything. But we didn't have to wait for the line because that would have been a dead zone. But then the audience laughed at it as well, so it got a bonus laugh.
It did. I know.
It got a bonus laugh because of the way I said it so awkwardly, because she's my mistress.
Yeah, I know. I picked that up.
And so that was a really that's what we need to do sometimes in this kind of thing is you need to just be able to think on your feet and do what you need to do.
You've got to be in the zone.
Yeah, because there's so much dialogue. I think everyone forgot something at some point.
Probably. I think what I'm thinking as well is that because I've been so used to doing musicals, which is a bit of a mixture of acting as well as singing and dancing, you're sort of juggling a few different things and whatnot. Whereas this is just dialogue, and whilst it's just that one thing, the volume of that one thing is immense.
Yeah,
it's off the Richter scale of how much dialogue there is.
But then also you have situations where, like, if you're in like a massive ensemble thing where you've got 30, 40 people working on it, you don't necessarily always have that much time on stage. For Act 1, I was on stage for about an hour non-stop. I wasn't in the first scene.
Yeah.
I came in, I briefly went into my bedroom twice to put my bag down and then to get my bag in 3 times, because one was to get away from you and then another time to get my bag. But other than those 3 brief breaks of like seconds, I was on stage for like an hour non-stop. And those lights are hot. You got to remember all that dialogue. You don't get a break. It is a lot.
I'm trying to think. Did you? So from when you come on in Act 1, did you actually go off stage?
Only when I went to the cowshed briefly to put my bag down. Briefly again before you say I'll have to tell them that Suzanne's your mistress. And then once more just to grab my bag. When I was trying to leave. Yeah. Other than that, I was on stage for all of Act 1.
You were, what? Yeah.
It was hard work. And by the Saturday night, I did end up we did skip a bit, as I was telling you yesterday, in one of our scenes because I skipped forward because I was forgetting.
Yeah, no,
I couldn't remember, and I thought we were at a later line, and I ended up skipping to the next.
Yeah,
one.
I was thinking you worked on the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was hard work.
I mean, that was similar for Act 2 because Act 2, I come on very briefly in the very first scene, get sprayed with the soda siphon, and have to go change my pajamas.
Yeah, and then you're on for like the rest.
And then when I come back on in the pajamas. Until my final scene, I'm just on stage the whole time.
Similar with Suzanne. Suzanne's in Act 2 a lot. Because she's got like that massive chunk with Jacqueline.
Yeah, she is, yeah.
And then she's got a whole bit with me, and then a bit with you, that long bit with you. Where she's hitting you with the thing.
Yeah.
And then she comes back again.
That was my audition piece, that bit.
Yes. And then she comes back on after George has arrived. And then she's there until basically I go to bed. You have your one other scene and then she comes back on again.
Yeah.
So you two had it much harder in Act 2. But obviously Act 2 is shorter than Act 1 as well.
Yeah,
it's
and it's where a lot of the
80, 60.
It's where a lot of the comedic payoff comes about. Whereas Act 1
sets up a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of exposition where you have to establish everything.
In general though, like Act 1's probably more funny to begin with. And then Act 2 is like it starts to get to a little bit of a lull, and then George arrives, and it kicks up a gear. Well, like just before George arrives, it maybe gets a little bit down. Like everyone's getting a little bit used to it. It's
it's a bit of a bit more intense, like more dramatic.
Yeah, and then George arrives, and it's like boof.
Yeah,
straight
it's like,
back
what
up.
the fuck is going on?
Yeah, so it's got really good pacing, that play.
Definitely.
Right
there.
Yeah.
He knocked his cable.
So it was hard work being up there for the better part of 60 to 70 minutes on stage.
So you did
no. Because Act 1 is like an 80-minute block.
Yes.
And that first scene between you and Jacqueline is probably like 5-10 minutes.
Probably. Yeah.
So I'm on there about 70 minutes, which is a long time.
Yeah.
With a lot of different scenes with different people. So, I was very worried about forgetting stuff. And obviously on Saturday, I briefly forgot a little bit, but it was so inconsequential, no one noticed. It wasn't. And I didn't make it obvious I forgot. I just jumped forward a little bit. Because I thought you said it was your line about she was supposed to come in from the train station. I thought it was a line she was supposed to be on the same train as you, and I jumped to the line after that.
But also, it's like it didn't really matter because I just carried on.
But all we lost was basically really, she was supposed to be on the same train as you. And that's all we lost was just that tiny little bit. So it was fine.
Yeah, it's not.
But it was very tough work. That show it was very demanding.
Very
because it's very word intense, and obviously. I mentioned briefly this monologue I had to do. It takes up almost an entire page.
It does, yeah.
Like, there's like 2 lines at the bottom of it that's not in the monologue, but the monologue is like the rest of the page, top to bottom. And it is massive. It was a hard one to learn, but one of the rehearsals I went up on stage and I just repeated it over and over, like 10 minutes until it stuck. And then I was like, okay, there it is.
And then every single night, got applause. Every single night without fail.
The thing is with that monologue though is it was weird because when you've got such a chunky bit of script that you're saying that's not conversational and it's almost out to the audience a bit as well. You don't want it to just sound like you're reciting a monologue.
Yeah.
So I added like little human things, like pausing briefly to say hi, Suzanne, after I mentioned her, or oh, I'm sorry, Suzanne, right before saying she was the cook. Just little tiny things or little extra words or stammers to make it feel more human, so it didn't feel like I was just repeating a monologue.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want it to feel wooden. Like I needed it to feel like a very natural. I'm thinking this up on the spot as we go.
Making it up
because that is the point. I'm supposed to be making it up on the spot.
You're basically at that point reciting the whole plot.
Yeah, but in a way that basically works in my favor and exonerates me from any wrongdoing. But
gotta applause every single night that did. Yeah.
Not immediately though, because they weren't even sure if I was finished.
Yeah,
they had to wait a little bit to see if I was finished, and then they went. Yeah. But
and then you follow it up with I think that's right.
Yes, but honestly, everyone I spoke to loved the show.
Yeah.
Like all my friends loved it. My family loved it.
I mean, I got to meet
you got to meet my guys, Aaron and Mac.
Yeah, Aaron was really tall.
Aaron, he's a big man, Aaron.
I literally looked at him. I was like, "God, you are tall."
Yeah, bro, donks.
Yeah,
I love
the fact that when they saw me, they were like, "Oh my God, it's a podcast guy."
Yeah,
it's great.
But yeah, so you got to meet them,
and then you got to meet a lot of like my folks.
Yes, I got to meet a bunch of your folks. Yeah. I got to reunite with Ronnie from our 2019 group.
Ronnie, obviously, Ronnie first was acting with us.
Back in 19, we were doing Grease. It was Danny, Kaniki, and Roger in Grease. Right.
And then we've got a picture of us and Billy as well, who I worked with on projects and whatnot with Ronnie as well.
Yeah, first time I met him.
Yeah, Billy's great. Yeah, but that was surreal, that reunion.
It was crazy. What? And then we were just chatting in the McDonald's a lot afterwards, just talking about it.
Great.
God, he's one of the funniest guys I met. Mate, every time I talk to him, he's just fucking hilarious.
He's just amazing. We love him.
God.
We're going to get him on the podcast.
What a legend. We've got to get him on at some point.
Yeah.
But, and then, the next day, one of your uni friends came, and then my guys came and everything. And then on the Saturday... pretty much our number one viewer of the podcast turned up.
JA Productions.
JA Productions, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've always watched from afar and whatnot.
Yeah, see, you two have known each other for years and years.
Videos and whatnot,
Yeah.
And
then he came to the show. We got to meet him, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, it was great to meet a fan of the podcast.
Obviously, always leaving the long.
Yeah, he always comments every episode.
We had a little chat about Mario Galaxy because we were.
We had a little chat about that, about some other stuff and whatever. It was nice just to have a little talk.
Yeah.
Your family seemed to love it. My family loved it.
I mean, my dad said that was his favorite of the shows that I've done.
My dad said the same thing. My dad does not care for theatre.
Yeah.
But he enjoyed this.
That's good then.
My nan was. I spoke to my nan this morning, who was at last night's show. So obviously, I had my nan and grandpa who used to live in Chicago, and then I had my nan, which is my dad's mom. We were talking about it this morning. Well, she was very emotional. She was really, really happy to see me back at it again. She was.
That's sweet.
Yeah, she was really glad she could make it. So yeah, they were. Yeah, everyone enjoyed it. I think my grandpa as well doesn't do theatre that much in plays, but he'd seen Don't Dress for Dinner before in America.
Has he?
Yeah, my nan and grandpa knew the show already.
Wow.
Because when I was telling them about it, they were like, "Oh, the bus," and I was like, "Oh yeah, you know the show." Yeah. So those grandparents, they knew the show, but yeah, they really enjoyed watching it again. Everyone I spoke to though said the same thing about how well we bounced off each other. They were all saying how the chemistry and everything, which is what obviously I've always said the words for us was chemistry. I think. Additionally, I don't know, Jacqueline. I don't know if she said this to you. She didn't say it to me, but she said to my mom. Jacqueline was talking to my mom after the Thursday show, and was saying that the way the talent we had was like unfair for how old we are. And so she was really nice about that and everything.
I didn't know that, to be fair.
Yeah, she told my mom. My mom was eavesdropping what everyone was saying about us without introducing herself. But then my nan's partner went, "Oh, by the way, this is Luke's mom." And pushed her in. But yeah, so everyone loved it. Everyone really enjoyed it. So.
I think what was really special as well, the amount of people from all different walks of our lives who went to come see it. Obviously, you've got even
my boss came.
Yeah,
my boss came to the show.
Brilliant. But that's the thing. It's like for me, it was like seeing on the Friday night, seeing my girlfriend, my uni friend.
Yes, your girlfriend came as well. Yeah.
Yeah, on the Friday night.
Yeah.
But seeing you guys I can see you all in the same place.
Yeah.
Outside the theatre, and it's like it's like some weird fucking crossover. Like
Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah, it's like It's like in Doctor Who, and they have like multi-doctor stories when they have all the different doctors and like who you never see paired together in the same place.
It's the fucking portal scene in Endgame.
It's like fucking
everyone comes through. It's like they're just like on your left.
Yeah, it's like Ready Player One. You've got all these different characters, pop culture. Like, what are they all doing here?
It's crazy.
But yeah,
to have everyone there.
It's really special.
And it was kind of weird because I mean, other than the fact we've kept doing the podcast, we have quite separate worlds since we finished Class Act and whatever. So it was kind of cool to see all that come together. Yeah, I met your guys, you met my guys.
And see it all kind of reunite. It was really, that's the special thing about theatre is that it does bring. Yeah, it brings not just people who go like do it together like us and how it's brought us back together doing this, but also, as I say, the people that come and watch it and support it, the people that it brings together, and as I say, the members on that Friday was really overwhelming for me because that's really the most audience I had because obviously
it was the most active crowd for sure out of the 3
most active crowd.
Yeah,
and I think
they laughed at everything.
Yeah,
even the things the other two crowds didn't laugh at, they laughed at everything.
Yeah, I think if I had to rank each show, it would probably be the Friday performance was the best. In terms of, I think the level of audience interaction correlates to how good the show was. So I would say Friday, Saturday, Thursday.
I'd say the same, but for me, it's more so because Thursday had the dead spot.
Yeah.
But Thursday had some great audience. There was this one woman on the front row. This old woman on the front row. I don't know who she is. I don't even know. I don't think she's going to watch this. But if anyone watching this knows this woman, please pass on my thanks because she was hilarious. She was like little old lady on the front row. She was like probably had a few to drink or whatever. Yeah. She was like running commentary throughout the whole thing. She was really getting into it.
Yeah.
There's a bit where he's talking to Jacqueline, trying to find out who Jacqueline's sleeping with.
And it's revealed it's you.
It's revealed it's me, and I'm hiding behind the bar. And he goes, she goes, don't you know? It's him. And I pop up behind the thing, and she's just there like, have another drink, Robert. Everyone died.
So this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at Lee in our prompt box. I'm looking at the audience there. Everybody's going. Even you're nearly going. You have to cover it with drink.
Yeah, I did end up having more drink to cover the fact that I was going. I just about survived.
I don't know how I didn't. I don't know how I didn't go.
We survived.
I don't know how.
I have no idea if Jacqueline survived. I didn't even know.
I wasn't looking.
I was just focused on the drink. I was like, don't look at anybody. Just look at the drink.
Yeah,
that's the closest I've come to corpsing, honestly. Yeah. That was brutal. But it was so funny. So if anyone watching knows who that is, please tell them we appreciate it because that was so funny.
Spot on.
I was concerned if she was going to come back the next 2 nights and do the same thing. And I was like, oh, no, I can't survive round 2.
I can't do that.
But yeah, I mean, on Saturday we had an interesting thing.
So Saturday, so this is during Act 2.
So we've been given the thing where like we were told about show stops.
So we were given. So Vicky, our stage manager, gave us like sort of health and safety talk of what happens in emergencies. So like fire.
So there's a fire one and there's a show stop, which is basically anything that isn't a fire that we can stop for. So one of them might be that if tech has a problem.
Yeah. Now what happened in Act 2? So it's a scene between me, you, and
Suzette.
Yes. Yeah. So what happened? We're just in the middle of the scene, and the main lights go down. The lamps are still on.
Yeah, it was basically the lights that were on at the final scene were on, but then the main ones were gone.
Yeah, they went off, and we thought, what's going on? Is there a show stop? Has something gone wrong?
We kept running it normally
because no one said stop. So
we figured that if they were going to stop, they'll come out and say stop, and then we'll redo it. So we just did it.
Yeah, and it turns out ultimately what it was is that just they clicked the wrong button by mistake, which obviously happens.
Yeah,
it's what happens with live theatre. Mistakes happen, but. They came back up, because it was only like 10, 20 seconds.
Yeah, it was like 20 seconds, and the lights started coming back up.
Just as I said, oh, I see, that's very bright of you, Suzette. And I just like gestured to the lights.
Yeah, because they just came back up, and he emphasised bright, gestured to the lights, and everyone loved it.
It couldn't have been timed better.
The timing was ridiculous.
And I would say, I felt on top of the world doing that.
But everyone backstage was confused, because that's not normally a laugh line.
Yeah, it's
that's just
fun.
It's like, oh yeah, that's a bright idea, Suzette. But because of the...
Everyone applause, didn't they?
Yeah, you got a whole applause. I had to wait for them to die down a bit before saying, that was a very bright idea.
Yeah, and like...
The amount of people who thought that was ad-libbed as well.
Yeah. What?
A lot of people thought that was ad-libbed because of the lights.
Oh, yeah. No, that was genuine.
But that was the line. You know, it just worked.
Some people thought that was part of the effect that I spoke to.
Yeah.
Part of the effect that it was just like, that was like, to emphasize that bright idea.
But the thing is, everyone bought it.
Yeah.
Like, no one was confused by it or thought anything weird of it. They all, everyone bought into it.
And that's the thing. It's like, you just carry on. Don't let the atmosphere die. Just let it go. Let it carry on. If things that happen, it gets sorted. It gets sorted quickly. I say just like an innocent
And obviously, if there had been something more, they would have just show stopped and we would have just gone back and probably done that scene again.
Yeah. But then, just integrate it into it and just make it flow, and just that was perfect.
That is the thing, though. Is obviously with like movies, you do reshoots, you edit in whatever. With theatre, it's live, and mistakes can happen, and you need to know how to roll with those mistakes and make them work and get through them. And even then, when you do, it makes some like the most iconic moments.
It does, yeah. I mean, the one that I. I'm funny as well. On the Friday,
oh,
you know what's coming. Where it was
a sauce veloute.
No, not that. It was another.
That's another one.
But it's when I think it was George's scene, but you just sneezed.
Oh my god! I was desperately trying to hold that in because the light over there was right in my eyes. I was like, it was right in the middle of like a really tense moment where he's like getting aggressive at you, and I was like,
and I'm like in the middle of my line. I'm just like, well, it's very bless you, very common name.
Everyone laughed.
Just going with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Rather. But I tried desperately to hold that back. Like that was in there for like a whole minute, and I was just like, don't.
But it's how you incorporate that. It's just like not letting that. I think if I hadn't done it, it would have just detracted from it. But just saying like, bless you, and then
the fact that you acknowledged it, because in a human situation you would acknowledge it,
and then just move it on. Immediately.
And then they found it funny, so it was fine. But there was other moments where like there weren't like mistakes, but like
they were unexpected.
Little unexpected things. So Friday was a big culprit of these.
Yeah, but that's why I think partly is that's why part of it was Friday was my favorite show
because things went crazy,
unexpected moments. So
like it was mostly in Act. There was one in Act 1 for you and one in Act 2 for me that happened.
Yes, so in Act 1 there was the sauce veloute of it. So there's a bit of a running gag where I have like a few costume changes where my shirts get like soaked.
Yes, the first one, like Suzanne spills her drink on you after I hit you to get your attention because Jacqueline's coming in.
And then later in Act 1, the similar thing happens, but it's with a.
She's got a bowl of sauce.
It's like mixture, and in reality, it was like shaving foam and like shampoo or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. It's what it's meant to do. It's meant to go over my shirt.
Yeah. So I hit him because Jacqueline's coming back in and he doesn't want him to get caught. So I hit him, and she's supposed to throw some of it down his shirt. Smacked him right in the face.
Yeah, smacked. And like I had to make sure I didn't eat that.
And there was so much on the floor as well.
Yeah, and it was like on my shoes. I was like, and it's like I started to do that.
The audience found it so funny.
And the funniest part is that when I'm about to come back on for the bit after, Abby's waiting in the other wing there, and it's like you still got some on you.
So that's the thing is I was considering whether or not to add an extra joke about the mountain mess you made, like to add some sort of like innuendo, but I thought, they're eating this up. Let's just leave it.
Yeah, I mean, I did ad-lib like it's not done just yet.
Yes, that works.
Yeah.
But then there was a bit in Act 2. So at the start of Act 2, I come on doing a little tango dance with Suzette.
Oh, yeah.
And we finished the dance. We did the whole dance. I did the spin. I dipped her. She came back up and she stood on my left foot. Now, it didn't hurt, but it threw my balance off. So I was wobbling around and then I leaned into her. And then eventually I stabilized myself and looked at Jack and was like, lovely dinner. That was funny.
Yeah, I didn't see that because I'm waiting.
Yeah, you're in the wings,
so I've got to kind of wait behind because the door's open at that point.
Yes, the door stayed open.
I
can't to dance back out.
But I didn't see it, but it was funny.
Yeah,
it was funny. That's actually a question about like the sort of physical humor. There's a lot of like visual jokes and gags and whatnot. We've kind of touched on some of them.
Yeah, like obviously there's a scene where like I just completely collapse.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then obviously when there's the fight with George where he throws me behind the sofa. Yeah. So behind the couch we had like a 6 centimeter thick crash mat, and we had to practice like him throwing me, and I had to turn around and land on it safely.
You knocked it over. Oh wait, no.
You knocked it over.
When you knocked it over.
No. In the first scene on Saturday, when you and Jacqueline sat down on the sofa, you nudged it and it fell over.
I didn't know.
Because it was already down when I came in.
But I don't remember
doing it. It was one of you two.
But I don't remember doing it.
It might have been Jacqueline.
I don't remember doing it.
It was one of you.
It might have been.
It was one of you.
It really was.
I couldn't see. It was one of you. But yeah, so then we had to do the whole of Act 1 on Saturday, navigating this crash mat that wasn't supposed to be on the floor behind the sofa.
It works.
It worked. Yeah, but you know, it was unexpected when you first come on. It's just there.
Yeah, I was like, wait, I don't like that.
I wanted to try and find a moment to prop it back up. You wouldn't have been able to do it discreetly, so I just didn't bother.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't have
Oh, and then on the Friday, my suitcase did not want to play ball. Every time I put my suitcase down, it wanted to fall over, and I had to stand there and make it, no. Stay.
It got to the point where I just kept like knocking it over on my foot.
When I dropped it, and it would just
and I just like stood on it.
But no, they found it funny.
Yeah, that's good. Obviously, we mentioned the carrot joke earlier. That was again my addition.
Yeah. So you had the carrot, and when I made the joke about she's come already, it just went. Yeah.
Again, that was one that always got the amount of people that came up was like the carrot bit.
We had a few bits that we added as well. So, like, there's a bit where Suzette's reading off, "Am I a this or a this or a cook or a mistress or a prostitute?" And I'm just like, "Yes."
No. Yeah.
And then same again later, like, "Don't tell me I'm really your long lost daughter who's a prima ballerina who's sleeping with 3 nephews of yours, a herd of pigs, and a prize bull."
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I go like, and then the last night I was like, "You have a very active imagination."
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, last show pranks are always going to happen. You always get a bit crazy.
Well, yeah, because didn't Jacqueline like squirt you with the soda way more than necessary
in my face?
And then Suzanne whipped you over and over with a headdress. I could hear it backstage. I could hear the whip.
With it's with the apron.
Oh, it's the apron.
It's the apron she hit me with.
Yeah, I could hear it backstage. I could just hear the whip sound of it hitting. And I thought, gosh, he's going at it.
She's going for it. What's he done?
Jesus.
Yeah. I didn't realise how loud these speakers were back there.
Oh, God. Her voice when she yelled, "That creature in there!" It blows the speakers out back there, honestly. Because of the exaggerated accent she's doing. And how high
it's very like sort of Catherine Tate.
Yeah. But, oh, God, it's loud back there.
How do you think it feels when I'm stood right next to her?
Yeah.
In that moment. Being called a prize piece of shit.
Yes. And then obviously, all's well that ends well. You go to bed with Jacqueline. Suzette goes home with George.
With a coat.
With
a gorgeous
2,000 franc Chanel coat.
You gorgeous man.
Yes. And I go to the cow shed with your mistress.
Giggity.
Giggity. All right. Yeah.
But
I added a little thing as well when one of the lines is, "How do you know she's a good cook? Robert said so, isn't she?" And I said, "Excellent." I was doing like the Mr. Burns from Simpsons. And then we had a little bit where I was doing.
I wondered what that was.
Yeah, it's Mr. Burns from Simpsons. Excellent.
I was like, "What are you doing that for?"
And then when Suzette comes in later, and it's like, "Oh, hi, Suzette." That was like, "Oh, hi, Mark," from the room. I did not hit her. Oh, hi, Mark.
I mean, there's a few points that I referenced, like the bit when it's like, "Use your brains, Robert." I sort of do the in Back to the Future.
The Biff does.
Yeah, it's like, hello, McFly.
Yeah.
That was sort of me doing sort of that.
So we did put little extra things in. But it was good because it makes it makes it more a character, and B, it's less like reciting the script.
Yeah.
You make it more human when you add the
as long as it's not too much.
Yes, of course.
Sometimes they can be a bit funny if you like, add too much in.
But that's interesting actually. So another question I want to ask, for our more so for our viewers than for my sake, is what sort of like inspirations did you channel into your portrayal of Bernard?
To me, I mean, Basil Fawlty was a big one.
Yeah.
The way I sort of looked at it almost is, and this kind of, I do think this very much came across based on the photos that Lucy, if you remember, she took the autograph.
Hopefully, if we get the photos in time, I'll put them in the video.
Definitely, we'll obviously credit in the description.
Yes.
But so very much, I can say that this came through. I wanted to sort of play Bernard in a way where it's like almost 2 layers. There's how he thinks of himself and how he actually comes across. So he thinks he's this like very suave, very suave gentleman, very classy, and that very much I felt like very sort of like Roger Moore as James Bond, sort of like John Pertwee. I mean, the Velvet Jacket was.
I could tell you were trying to channel some of like an earlier Bond in there.
Yeah,
I knew that was going to be the kind of thing you pull through.
But that's the kind of like what he thinks of himself.
Yes,
and then how he actually looks is like Basil Fawlty, this absolute buffoon of a man. And like some of the photos, like none of them are glamorous, really. There's like, there's so many where like I'm doing all these expressions and just absolutely like going for it, and it does look like a tit. But that's the point, is that he's meant to, and he's meant to get more just completely off the rails and unhinged as the show goes on. And so I think it was looking at it, and there's kind of like that sort of those 2 different layers.
Yeah,
in a sense. But like in terms of like little minute bits, I took inspiration from loads of little moments. As I said, that's the future moment.
Yes,
like little nuggets and whatnot. I take from all over the place.
Well, see, for the main gist of Bernard, that's where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's very much and I guess my question to you is kind of the same. Like, how did you sort of approach it in terms of like inspiration? So
initially, like I set up my initial plan of like, okay, so maybe because obviously Robert's a bit more of a physical character, and he's a little bit of a buffoon at times as well. I wanted to channel maybe a bit of Jim Carrey in there, because obviously there's quite a bit of like physical, visual comedy that I have, and so That's one thing I did keep all the way through, especially with, like, facial expressions. Obviously, Jim Carrey's very active with, like, his face, whatever, very animated face. I wanted to try and capture a lot. And I got a lot of compliments about the facial expressions. And I had Lee cracking up in the prompt corner all the time. And, you know, when we were doing rehearsals and, like, Cam was in the audience for Act 1, he was cracking up constantly. Yeah. Even when we were doing the WhatsApp calls and we were on there, and Cam was cracking up constantly in my faces. Yeah, but, yes, I wanted to incorporate a lot of that. But initially, I also wanted to try... I initially started out with a voice that was a bit of like a Matt Berry kind of thing.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
But then I kind of adapted it, because I thought, now that I understand the character a bit more, I want to try and change it a bit. I made it a bit more stammery. I almost put in, and this is a weird one, because obviously I wanted to go more... We're going more British, because we obviously... yes, it's French play, but we set it in Britain, and we had like a British cast in it.
Yeah, like British characters.
Like, even though it's in Paris and whatever, we still set it with British characters.
I mean, except Georgie was Scottish.
Yes, but still British.
Yeah.
You know.
I know.
But, you know, despite that, I wanted to channel a little bit of Charlie Day.
Yeah, no, I get that.
There's a little bit of Charlie Day, and specifically his character Charlie Kelly in Always Sunny in Philadelphia, with some of the way he gets, like, the mannerisms of how he talks when he's, like, overwhelmed almost. I worked into a few things, like the scene after I've come back out of the room and said why, and I was like, well, you could just tell them this, and you could just tell them, I don't really want to do this, and, you know, I really want to channel, you know, a little bit of that, you know.
Yeah.
I really want to kind of work in that.
Exactly like it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought, I want to channel a little bit of that energy. But then I also want the kind of Jim Carrey physicality and visual comedy. But, you know, it was that was kind of the main things. But then I also had a few other things I did, not necessarily for the character itself, but for the mindset. For example, I told you for like the last couple of weeks before the show, when I was driving to and from the show, I was only listening to CDs in the car that came out in the 80s or earlier.
Yeah. To
kind of get in, just as kind of a weird way of getting into the time period and the mindset. I had the hat, which I wore all the time when I was in character. You know, that was part of the character for me. And it was like, when I had the hat, I was Robert. When I didn't have the hat, I was me. And, you know, even to the state, I went to Asda one time in my costume after one of those Sunday runs.
That was so funny.
Because I needed to go shopping, and you know, we'd just done the rehearsal. And I was like,
you didn't bring a change of clothes though, did you?
No, no, I came in the costume.
Yeah.
That's it. My God, I couldn't not. My God,
I couldn't not do that.
But you know, but I also had like a few other things as well, like you know, there were little things added. Like I said, there were little like mini things, like the excellent thing that was added. I added like, you know how like there's like sometimes in Family Guy, Stewie does this thing where he like slowly turns and tilts his head.
Yeah,
I did that a couple of times, like when Suzette said extra, and I'm like, extra.
Yeah.
And then, or similarly again when Suzanne says about, oh, you don't need to move into the piggery, and I'm like,
I don't know.
But it was weird.
I did that sometimes, to be fair, as well.
Yeah, there was a lot of new stuff in this as well, though, because like there's a lot of stuff in this that I've never done before. Because like, I've not done a comedy before. Yeah. I've not had to really do romantic roles before. Like I've done Midsummer Night's Dream, but we were kids and we didn't do much romantic. Whereas obviously this one I had Jacqueline kissing me and everything. But I never really got used to that. Not gonna lie, I didn't get used to that at all. Not even on by last night.
I mean, it wasn't actually. It was a stage kiss.
Yeah, but obviously the one there wasn't. But
what?
Oh, she kissed me on the cheek.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, the one on my lips.
The
one on my lips. She puts her thumbs over. So,
that is like a basic stage kiss of like.
But no, like, she kissed me on the cheek a few times. I'm not used to that. That's not a thing that happens. So that I never really got used to that. Yeah. There was bits as well where it's like she was like, okay, hold my leg, put your hand on my face. I'm like, is that okay?
Yes,
because I'm not sure. This is new stuff to me, and I want to make sure people are okay with what we're doing, especially when you're playing roles that have a sense of intimacy. You want to make sure everyone's comfortable and okay with it.
And I think the thing is, even if it's like whether it's your first one like it is with you, or whether you've been there for a while like me, you still want to make sure that everyone.
And obviously, it's new people I've never met, and suddenly we're doing all this. It's like is this okay?
I mean, ironically as well, even though I've been with them for a bit, aside from you, I'd not performed with any of them before.
Yeah. But, so, it was a lot of new stuff to learn here as well. But, I did have a few ideas I took in. I wanted to also, I wanted to do the Matt Berry voice, but I thought, A, I don't think I could keep it up the whole time, and B, I don't think it allowed for the range of what I wanted to do with the character in the end, so I changed it and did something a bit more different, a bit more unique in a way. I still wanted to keep a little bit of a posher British voice, because obviously my natural voice really goes on a bit of a roundabout between Britain and America. It just goes on a roundabout.
Do you remember when it was one of our early rehearsals and Cameron, who played George, fucking legend by the way. We're getting him on the podcast one day.
Yeah,
definitely. But he asked, "Where are you from?" And you were saying like where you were from, whatnot.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You're the most American yammy I've ever heard."
Yeah. Yammy, I'm being a term for people from Wolverhampton, by the way.
Yeah.
For those who don't know.
The Midlands.
The Midlands.
Yeah.
Very mid. Very mid. This is Wolverhampton River. It's shit all like my home in Kazakhstan. How are we not dead?
You've got it in the falsetto. How are we not dead?
How are we not dead? Oh, Fred. Don't meet us a free elf.
Oh, I was going to go Rig Dark. No.
But
yeah,
so my normal voice kind of goes on swings and roundabouts. So I need to try to lock in a British voice.
To be fair, when Nina, when our costume manager Nina, when she first met, because she was choreographer on All Shook Up, and so I was very familiar with her. I don't think I ever told you this, but when we were in the dressing room, like looking at the costumes, like we were looking at the like blue velvet, like jackets and like there's long coats and whatnot. We were looking at kind of what to try. You walked out the room and she whispers to me, "Where's he from?"
That's the mystery, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a mystery.
Yeah, I don't know where you're from. I don't know where you are.
When I was in...
Where do you come from?
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? But yeah, when I was in Pauline Quirk Academy, we basically had 3 different teachers in a sense. We had one for music, one for the drama, one for the film. And the drama one always said that I had a transatlantic accent. You know, like somewhere in between America and England.
Yeah, you kind of.
That's kind of how I describe it.
Yeah, you kind of do. Yeah, actually.
But you know, a lot of the times people are like, I think the false accent of not really sounding British is something I do kind of subconsciously when I'm around new people. You know, so I'm not really myself, and then once people get used to me, I start speaking more normally. But yeah, so when I'm in situations, my voice just goes round and round and round. So I had to kind of settle on a British accent that worked for me, that kind of went all the way through. But I also tried to incorporate a few other things. Yeah. But really, because Robert's like this kind of this manic, like eye of the storm, and everything's going shit around him and all that. And he just walked into it, and he didn't know what he was getting himself into. He's just walking in and getting more drinks. But
absolute shots.
But yeah, so
that was something we did. That was something we kept doing.
Oh yeah, when we would finish the show, we were like absolute theatre.
Yeah, we got the others doing.
Us two and Abby. Yeah,
it was funny though. It was a good laugh. It was good to introduce like everyone's like in jokes and shit. It was fun.
Yes, and the fairy tale fiasco story.
Yeah, I hated that. I hate every time we have to tell that.
It's story. So funny. I hate it. It's so funny.
It's brilliant, but I hate it.
It's so funny.
Yeah. But there's been some good like little moments. I think one of the moments I really enjoyed from the process was when I really enjoyed it. It was when we went to watch Neil and Abby in a panto.
Yes.
Obviously, because like panto season at the start of the year.
Yes, we saw them in Puss in Boots.
Yeah, so they went. So we kind of organised it as like a sort of cast trip. We all like most. I think aside from Cameron, we all went.
Yes.
Spotting was when we called to record, and that's when we recorded the Bone Temple episode.
Yes, the Boner Temple.
Yeah, that's when we did that first in-person episode. We were fucking shattered that day.
Boner Temple.
Yeah, 28 inches later.
28 inches later.
The Boner Temple.
The Harry Hill episode. That was a wild one.
That was crazy.
That was a wild
But I really enjoyed doing that.
Yeah.
And there's that photo of a lot of us.
Yes.
It was really nice to do that, I think.
Yeah.
And like I think it helped create that kind of
On Friday backstage, Abby and I were just hitting Fortnite emotes.
Were you?
We were just there hitting the gritty and and then we were so flossing.
And I joined you.
Just hitting all the Fortnite emotes.
I joined you.
I don't know what we were doing.
You're on crack.
We were high that day.
You were. You very much were.
Friday was the high, honestly.
I think
Friday was the high.
It was the peak of it, I think. Yeah, I felt very overwhelmed by the amount of people that came that day. And
I didn't know how many people came because I could only see like the front 4 rows and I couldn't see anything beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty far actually, to be fair. The audiences, we had a lot of audiences.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so Friday, I think the most people that I knew from like either members of Little Theatre or outside that I just knew anyway. And like the amount of people I had like coming up, and I was like, oh my god, where's everyone come from? It's mental. Yeah,
I had loads of people talking to me after the show about how I didn't know half of these people.
Yeah.
Didn't know half of them, but they all compliment me. I was like, oh, thank you. I mean, I enjoyed it.
I mean, I did have people who did come up to me. I mean, to be fair, Not as much as I have previously, because obviously I had to like move. We had to move the car.
Yeah.
So I'd then come back into the front of the theatre instead of like coming out the back and like coming through the auditorium and whatnot. I'd just go back into the bar. But yeah, no, it was great to like see what people thought of it. And I always love sort of thanking people for actually coming to watch the shows. You know, anyone, whether I know whether I've never met before or whether it's my parents.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who it is. I appreciate anyone coming to watch.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, we had a really good turnout, I think, box office wise, and
because at first we were a little worried because not many sold initially. Like it was looking pretty empty. They barely advertised or whatever. But in the last couple of weeks, you know,
we really
ramped
pushed
up.
it. Yeah, I think that's the thing with the plays, because we've obviously talked about it on briefly in the Ulsh Cup one, that the musical pantos do sell better, but also there's more of a marketing push for those because they're bigger budget, because there's more cast. There's more set. Obviously, for some of them, obviously, like songs you need band and whatnot. There's just a lot more that goes into them. So they really need them to sell, because if they don't, that is a lot of money down the drain.
Yeah.
Whereas the plays, they're not low budget. I never like to think of them as low budget. They are cheaper. They're not as expensive.
Especially when it's ones like this for one set.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot cheaper than a musical with many sets.
Yeah, like moving parts, like stuff on like platforms and stuff.
It doesn't say anything of the quality. Like it's just a fact. It is going to be cheaper when you've only got one set.
Yeah, you just don't
and
have
6 cast members, no band, no ensemble. You know.
Yeah, you just don't have to have as much. There, you know. But yeah, that's the thing. That's why they don't advertise it as much. But obviously they do in towards the end.
Yeah.
But also because historically the plays here, they've often been aimed at the older audiences, and this play was probably aimed at an older audience.
I mean, we had mostly old people on the Thursday as well, because obviously they cancelled the OAP nights now, so most of the old people came on Thursday. So I mean, turn out there, and Ronnie,
Ronnie,
and Ronnie getting badgered
getting badgered by like
this old lady next to him, like, why are you here? It's the old people night. Oh yeah, my friends are here. Yeah. Which ones do you know? Those two.
Those two twats there. Yeah, that's mine.
That said, I know it's a small thing, but I was really glad he said them too. Even though I've not seen him in years, he still mentioned me as one of the friends.
Well, he knows you.
Like, even though I saw him once in 22, but other than that, I've not seen him since pre-COVID.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Ron in person since about
late
24.
I've not had contact with him in any about time either. But so it was nice that he still said both of us.
Yeah, it was a real surprise when he
turned up. I didn't know he was coming.
I did, because he was like, he didn't know whether to tell us, but in the morning he was like, well, big show tonight, isn't it? And I was like, yeah. I was like, why is he? I was thinking, why is he randomly messaging me about this? But oftentimes he has like wish me luck with shows and whatnot. Yeah. So I just kind of think, he's just wishing me luck and whatnot. He's like, shame I can't come. Oh wait, he sent the ticket. And he's like, me and Billy are coming. I was like, fuck off. Yes. Actually. Yeah.
But I didn't know he was coming, and then he was just there in his car, and I was like, oh my!
But it was fucking funny, because I was going to wait till after the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, I said to you when we got there, I was like, we've got surprise guests coming tonight. And you were like, who?
And he was just there.
Yeah, he was just there. And it was like perfect time. I didn't know he was there. Perfect timing. You were so baffled. Like, what's he doing? What is he doing there?
Yeah.
But yeah, with the plays, that's, I think, typically they reach an older audience, and typically it's a lot of the older members who will be in them.
Yes.
Because obviously the musicals and pantos, you need a lot of energy, and it's typically a lot of the younger crowd who do them.
Yeah. Obviously, they still have older people in them. Like,
you can.
Like the older people in the Puss in Boots one were quite good.
Yeah, that's true. Like particularly like the dames and whatnot. Often
and the King as well. He was great actually in that play. Yeah, in that panto. But yeah, so it's still roll for
Dame Aunt Gladys.
Dame Aunt Gladys.
It is Aunt Gladys.
He did look like Aunt Gladys.
It does. It's the ginger hair and the red lipstick. It does look like.
So, there's still roles for him, but obviously a lot of the time you do when it's pantos, especially musicals, that you do need younger people who've got more energy to move around.
Obviously, you do have like one or two older characters, but a lot of the time it tends to be younger members of the cast. But yeah, I think the thing is, obviously, this play was cast a bit younger, and so I think we were kind of thinking we would promote it more through social media. Very much.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the amount of times we mentioned it on the podcast, frequently. But
so obviously, a lot of our podcast people aren't going to be in the area
to
watch. Obviously, I've got overseas people. You've
got overseas people.
Yeah, other people. Probably a lot of viewers are American.
Yeah, true,
I think with the podcast, most of our viewers are British.
Probably.
In general, on my channel, it's American, but on our podcast, more specifically, it's British people.
Probably.
Probably because a lot of your. Probably because a lot of your.
You sound so angry.
No.
I'm so angry. I love when my people sound angry.
No. But so not many people on the podcast would be able to get to the show.
Yeah, true.
But obviously, one did.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's true. Thank you very much.
I mean, obviously, my guys watch it every now and then.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, and then obviously, Aaron and Matt came.
Yeah,
that was really cool to meet them. But yeah, the thing is though, in terms of like box office, like numbers of audiences, for me, it's not purely about. Obviously, yes, the money is important because it's a business. If you don't make your money back, you're fucked.
Yeah,
and I'm not stupid, but I don't ever like to make it just about the money.
Yeah,
I think it's always important to remember that the audience is not just there to get your money back, but also just to enjoy it because you're sharing it with them.
And like the Friday crowd laughed loud enough, you'd think it was a full house.
Yeah, you would, and it more or less was.
I wouldn't know. I couldn't see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was though, like quite mostly full. Yeah.
But yeah, it was.
And I say like having the audience there to share it with you.
Yeah,
is that's the valuable part of it. And to share, what you've done over the past 6 weeks, because you want an audience, especially this. You want people to laugh at the jokes.
Because that's why I was concerned at first when there weren't many bookings. Is no one's really going to see this.
Yeah, and it got to a point where I was sort of thinking of like, if no one's going to see this, are people going to laugh? And it's like, because obviously we rehearsed it that much. Obviously, we'd gotten into the routine.
Put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, but we got into the routine of that. We kind of were desensitized by the jokes. We weren't finding them that funny.
I still find it funny.
I mean, they're funny, but we were able to hold them in.
We were able to knock corpse, yeah.
But I'm thinking like, will they find it funny? And they did.
Yes, thankfully.
Yeah.
And obviously most of the jokes landed as well.
That's true.
I wasn't sure if they were all going to land, obviously, because it's a bit of an older piece as well. If some of them they just weren't going to get. I wasn't sure if the transvestite joke was going to land in a more modern audience, but it did.
Yeah.
Because when I was talking about it at home, my parents saying they were surprised that we left that in.
Yeah.
And I was saying, well, we did have to remove something, but that didn't serve anything. Whereas this was it's a joke. Whereas the other line wasn't a joke.
I mean, technically, it was it would have.
It wasn't funny.
It would have been played as it's to do with. I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, but it was a little distasteful.
Yeah,
it doesn't add anything, so we took it out.
Very much dated, and it's like it probably would have played a joke back in like 1991.
Even then,
Yeah.
And as well as the fact that Suzette obviously was as young as she was, I felt more icky about doing the joke. And given what was going on in the circumstance, I figured we should just.
Yeah.
We think we should boot that one out.
That does remind me of
in the circumstances.
Your circumstances sound a bit lot like my circumstances.
Yes, it's quite silly, really. We did end up having to trim one bit out, but everything else we capped and it worked.
Yeah. That bit was really good though, the whole costume sort of reveal.
Yes, that worked in the end. I was concerned that was going to be really clunky because it is quite a technical thing. Like
you have to get it right, yeah.
And every time we managed to get smoothly off.
I'm really happy about that.
Because that very easily could go wrong.
Yeah. What I was nervous about when we actually ran it was obviously because the drink had been spilled in the previous scene.
Yes.
And obviously there was still.
It was more every night. It was a bigger and bigger puddle.
Oh, the amount of. I was absolutely. I mean, I think by the final night it was on my face.
Yeah.
But yeah, by the end, I say it was a pretty big splash. So
yeah.
we wanted to try and avoid. That's why on the final night.
Yes, you put it to the side.
I moved it to the side.
Yes.
I was like, because I don't really want to. I mean,
it works,
I mean, it wouldn't have really mattered actually if it was the final night because.
No, but either way,
it's still just etiquette.
Either way,
Because I'm a gentleman.
Yes. Sleeping with your mistresses.
Of course.
Yes.
What a gentleman thing to do. But no, it's been a fantastic show to do.
It really has, and obviously today we had to go in and do the set strike. We had to take the set down.
I got Splinter.
He got a Splinter.
I was like, I'd only picked up one door. I got a fucking Splinter.
I picked up 4 of those and I didn't get a single Splinter. It's crazy.
The first one. So I was spending half of it trying to get all cut hand.
Yeah.
Because I've not had a Splinter since I was about 5 years old.
Yeah.
So I was like, how do I do it? I don't remember the last time I got a Splinter.
I didn't enjoy taking the set down, but after we'd done that, we all just went in the bar and we talked for a while, and that was nice. That was just all the cast just chilling. Yeah, that was a nice way just to round it all out. Yeah. Because we didn't do a proper after party.
Yeah,
a lot of the shows do apparently, but there was only 6 of us.
Yeah, all shook up. We did it. Alice in Wonderland did it because I was there on the last one. They let me join in.
Ah, nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
They let me join. They let me join with them. But yeah, this one we didn't.
Gosh.
Sean Connery. But yes, we didn't do it for this one. We did. I guess we did our little version of it today, which was nice. Yeah. I said we're recording this on Sunday the 19th, which is the day after the final show.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. So literally, we've come from Set Strike to this.
Obviously, did our Mario episode before, and
Yeah. Yes, it's been a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know,
mate, I'm still tired from last night.
Yeah, I'm very tired. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long week because obviously I live a bit further away.
A little bit, yeah.
So like we finish like what most of these nights we've been finishing at roughly 10:30, give or take. Some later, some earlier.
Yeah.
Half an hour to get home. It's like 11.
And then I get.
And then I've got to get up 6:30 for work.
Obviously, I mean today was a bit different, but still.
Yeah, and yesterday was different because yesterday though I woke up at 7 and I was like, "Fuck no, go back to sleep, go back to sleep." Eventually, and then I slept till about 11 in the end. Right. But you know, it took me a while because my curtains aren't good at blocking the light out, so it was really bright.
Yeah.
So I just buried my head under everything. So I just buried my head under everything and went back to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, because I didn't. I mean, I couldn't go back to sleep because I was on the Saturday matinee. I was watching Twisted, which is with Hannah, obviously Bonnie Clyde, Lily Blonde. They were doing it the same day as we were.
Yes.
So Beth's choreographing. I had
Beth's his friend.
The cat's out of the bag.
His friend.
Yeah, but also like friends like Deb, Aggie, Jess, Simon.
They are just friends.
Yeah. Whoa! Bloody hell, mate!
Let's clarify.
Bloody hell, mate!
Don't let Bernard seep into your real life. That said, his girlfriend's favourite character was mine.
Yeah. She was like, yeah, Dan, Robert was my favourite character. But the thing is, though, I can kind of see what she meant because Bernard is kind of like the straight man to all the chaos around him. Whereas you have a lot of, like, you interject with a lot of quips and a lot of these kind of snappy one-liners.
I do feel I do feel like Robert's the best character. Like, bias aside, I do really think his character's up there because he's got so much of the comedy going on around him.
Yeah, I do sometimes envy it. Not lie. But
that's the thing is, I feel like it worked better this way. I feel like it worked better you playing the straight man. I don't think I could have done that quite so well.
Yeah, it's but kind of losing his cool.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. That's almost like the joy of it. I don't get too big involved because it's like I don't find any of this funny because I say I do. Bernard doesn't find any of it funny. He is shitting it because it's like it's all going wrong. All his plans are going wrong.
Yeah,
he doesn't find it funny. But all the others can just take the piss out of them.
Except for when I hooked the cook, apparently. That was hilarious.
You hooked the cook. I didn't say fucked either. Everyone kept saying
it sounded like fuck.
No, it
sounded like fuck.
It doesn't.
It did.
It doesn't.
It did.
No.
Does.
No.
Does.
No.
Does.
Okay, shut up.
Does.
Shut up.
Does.
Well. Anyway.
Yeah, so you know, I think it worked, and you know, we were talking about it earlier as well, and like the fact that you know this show, and it's been like part of our lives for like half a year now. Yeah. We've been working on this, and the fact that I was saying earlier about that, I probably couldn't have done this without you in the play, because obviously you know coming back from all of that, and obviously you know a lot of what my last few shows were like, and the fact that it didn't work out.
Like I think almost we kind of resigned ourselves to the sort of state that you would never actually come back to it.
Yeah, I kind of accepted that.
Yeah, and I think I still held out hope, but I also...
Yeah. Partially it was just logistics as well, really against me at the time.
Like, the thing is, I always hoped that you would just get back into it. I didn't realise that it was going to be us together. Yeah. That's the thing.
But I feel like I couldn't have done it without one person I knew being there. And then the fact that we both got those roles...
Yeah.
And I did say at the time as well to people that I don't think I'd want to do Robert if you weren't Bernard.
Yeah.
Because I know how well the open read went, and I know that's what it needs to be.
Yeah.
Nothing else would have worked quite.
There was something.
It just worked. Something about it was just perfect. Yeah. You know, right down to the last word.
Minute detail. I thought you were doing Homelander then.
To every minute detail.
Yeah.
But yeah, like everything was just. It felt right.
Yeah,
you know, I didn't want to do it if it wasn't going to be us two.
And like, without sounding too wanky about it, it was that little bit of magic.
It was, yeah. There's nothing wanky about that, you know. That's what it was.
Yeah, there is a lot of magic that goes into things. Yeah. It's that unexplained.
Certain roles with certain people just click, you know, and it just works. It's meant to be.
Yeah.
And you know, if you weren't doing it, I wouldn't have been there, and the others would have been doing a whole different show.
Yeah,
it would have been very different.
Yeah,
even if it was just you and not me, it would have been different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because of the extra little things each person adds.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine the show like I don't. It's tricky to imagine how it would have gone.
Yeah, like you know, you would have had a completely dynamic with whoever the other Robert was. You would have had other jokes. he would have done other things. He probably wouldn't have done my facial expressions.
Yeah.
My YouTube thumbnail looking.
And then I'm doing like that.
Yeah.
That's a thumbnail.
But it's I wouldn't have come back to it if you weren't doing it as well. And I do feel at the point now where I'm going to try and do this next play, which obviously you're not going to be in.
Yeah. So actually, that's the answer. That's the question now. The final question: what next? Because if you remember, Ultra Cup, when you asked that same question,
I asked you what's next.
Everybody else was asking that same question,
yeah.
and in the moment, it was the first time since Bonnie and Clyde, pretty much, like before that I couldn't actually tell you what was coming next because I didn't quite know.
You can't have guessed that this was going to be what it was.
No, I didn't. But I did have.
It was insane.
I did have because there were a few different avenues. Obviously, there was Twisted with Tavlop. They were doing that.
Yeah.
At the time, there was obviously there was dinner, of course. I know there was plenty of. I think Shrewsbury they were doing Calendar Girls this week as well.
Oh yeah.
That's another company that I know a fair few people from and whatnot. I said a busy time. You know.
Yeah.
The Belfry have got their play next week as we're recording this. I was at a point with Ultra Cup that I'd networked. I've done 2 companies here, and the amount of people that you meet through it, I was at a point where I was almost like, I can go in any direction here. I don't really know what path there is, And I say after Ultra Cup, it was that moment of like, how do you top that? You don't. You do something a bit different. And I suppose going for like this sort of farce comedy play, it was something completely different from what I've actually done before. And it's the choice that, not many people expected of me to do. Obviously a lot of the folks I'm with doing Twisted and whatnot, particularly that a lot of them doing that. We've got Alex doing Dear Evan Hansen, that's in July, but like he's off doing that and he's got the lead role because he's a fucking legend. And I'm going to go watch it and he's going to be fucking amazing. I'm probably going to cry. But yeah, it was that thing of I was also making that sort of journey on my own for the first time.
Yeah.
Like you are going to do with the play upcoming. So it was scary for me as well, because I say you were the only one that I would have actually performed with before. I hadn't performed with the others before.
And obviously I hadn't because I didn't know.
Yeah. And in fact, like, because I'd met Lisa before, and I met Neil before, but I hadn't met the others before doing it. So yeah, it was just as scary for me as it was for you. But it was at that different point.
Yeah.
And you're now at that point. I was at the end of Ultra Cup. Everyone knows you. You got those applauds that you absolutely
they know me.
They know you.
And
they loved you. They thought you were. I mean, the fact that my girlfriend said you were the better character than me, that says it all. But the amount of people who really did love you, they were massively impressed. And I say, never met you before.
Yeah.
And you're in that position where...
Yeah, a lot of people are like, who is this?
Yeah.
Who is this person? I don't know them. A lot of people thought my name was Lou to begin with.
Yeah, what was that about?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know what that was about.
I don't know who started that. I don't know if it was Neil or Ian. I don't know which one started
one of them might
that.
have just accidentally heard
One of them started it, and on the initial cast list, it listed me as Lou.
Yeah, even though it had your right name on the emails.
Yes, on my email, and on my WhatsApp, and on the membership form.
I don't get it.
So I don't know.
I don't get it.
I was like, okay, fine, this is my stage name. I'm Lou.
Lou.
But you know.
Louis Armstrong.
Yes. I see trees of green.
Fucking hell, we do show up. We really do show up. Yeah.
But it's but yeah,
but
from here I really can just do something different, and I do feel I am at a point now where I can do something with completely different people, and I don't necessarily need to.
You don't need me as a crutch.
I don't want to say I don't need you, because that sounds harsh, but I don't need you necessarily to be able to function here. Whereas I couldn't have gone straight into doing something without someone I knew. Yeah. Now I feel like I can do something on my own, and I'll be okay.
And that's good. Like I'm first of all, I'm not offended by that.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm proud that you feel that you can make that choice like on your own. Obviously, because I guess what's next, we can kind of confidently answer what that question will be. So for me, I'm currently in rehearsals for the Great British Bake Off musical, which is the next musical.
Somehow they did a musical of Bake Off.
It's very odd. Some of the songs are very odd, I must say.
Yes, I heard some of them at the open day.
I've got my can they see my jumper?
Great British Bake Off musical.
There we go.
But yes, I heard some of the songs at the open day that I came to. Yeah, so I did come along to see if it was interesting. Yeah. But then I decided that Don't Dress for Dinner was too big. I couldn't do a musical as well.
Yeah, and
I couldn't do both at the same, especially with how big my role as Robert was.
Yeah, and I will be honest as well. Like taking on Bernard and Jim in the Great British Bake Off, which is one of the presenter roles. We'll probably do an episode of that.
Yeah, probably.
We'll do an episode of any show.
Yeah, at this point, might as well.
Yeah, but taking on both of those roles kind of simultaneously, like So two rehearsals a night for Dungeon Dinner, 2 bake-off rehearsals in a week. That's 4 nights in a row I'm rehearsing, and it you know, past few months, you know, it's been a lot. I can't lie. You know, it has definitely, it does take its toll. And there's times when like my parents won't, like, they won't see me for days.
Yeah.
They genuinely won't see me for days on end. You know, but it is always fun. It's always a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
And so in terms of what's next for you.
Yeah, so they got a play coming up here that I'm going to audition for. It's called the Weird Will of Willie Williams. So I really don't know much about what it's about, other than a guy fakes his death to summon his niece and nephew to his will reading. So, but it's a comedy, like this was.
So it's the 8th to the 10th of October this year, and also Bake Off will be 18th to the 20th of June.
And if I do that, that will actually be the day before, day of, and day after my birthday.
That's pretty
for Weird Will.
Yeah, but Weird Will, it'll be directed by Simon Whitehouse, he was Sheriff Earl in Ulster Cup. He was the Panto Dame recently.
Yes, and I met him at a Bake Off fundraiser, and then he was in the show on Friday. He was in the crowd. So.
Yeah, I think he was there Thursday, front of house as well.
Yes, he was front of house Thursday.
Yeah. But Simon's very good, and it's his first time directing as well.
Yes, so, you know, I'm hoping I might get a role in that. Obviously, you've already got a role in it. So we know that's happening.
As I say, we're midway through.
But we're not going to do our open day until after your musical's done. So it's going to be a while until I find out what I'm doing.
However, with Little as well, not only have you got your 4 main shows, we've also got plenty of like little events, little fundraisers, little stall events and whatnot. I mean, as we're recording this next week, we're doing an event in Muxton. It's just like we've got a staller. They've asked a few of us, can you sing some songs? I'm going to be there singing a couple.
I would have, but I'm with my guys next week because I've not seen them in a while. Besides Aaron and Matt.
Get Aaron and Matt. Get them to sing a duet.
Oh God.
Come on.
Oh God.
Get Aaron to sing.
Mac would sing some Hatsune Miku shit or something.
I know.
Aaron, meanwhile, would probably do some Robbie Williams or something.
I would rate that actually. You know what? I would.
Aaron, he's alright.
Aaron, can you sing Angels? Can you do a cover of Angels? That's a really good. I love that song. That's really good.
I don't know what I would do at that kind of thing because you know, I could either try something serious or I know some absolute bullshit songs. My guys know that I know some bullshit songs that would just throw everybody off.
You do.
I think I sent you that one karaoke clip.
the one that makes me laugh, it's the Grease Lightning one. Is it?
Oh, when I thought I was singing Grease, it was the wrong Grease or something.
Yeah, the wrong one, and it's like you.
I started singing that. I looked at it. I was like, hang on,
what the fuck is that? That'll never not be funny to me. That was brilliant.
Yeah, I thought I'll send it anyway. But
I like it.
But yeah, no, I did send you this one clip. This is absolutely wild song. But yeah, so.
But as
I would do something like that.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm with my guys this week.
Yeah, but that's fair. But as I said, like, there's plenty of like events, little events that we do.
Yeah.
Like open mic nights. Around Christmas, we had the Christmas fair. Obviously, I did that.
So you had the cake fundraiser.
Cake cakes
and raffle, and I actually won the raffle for once.
You did, yeah.
Yes, I won. I won some apple and blackcurrant pies, a 6-pack of Mr. Kipling's.
Oh, that's good.
And I got a chocolate fudge cake as well. Nice. Big chocolate fudge cake.
Nice. Yeah. But no, there's plenty of events and whatnot. Like and not even if you're not on stage as well.
Yeah, I'm probably going to do like front of house or bar for bakes. I'll come see you one of the nights as well.
Because as I was saying, like between Ulster Cup and this was the pantomime Alice in Wonderland. And whilst I wasn't in that, because I was kind of focusing on this more so, I'd rather focus on that. I still helped out. I helped out with the lighting for that. That was really fun to learn, actually. Yeah. And I'm for Weird Will, because I won't be doing that, but I'm hoping to do some like tech for that. And because it's play, it won't be as complex as the musicals and pantos are. But I hope to do tech for that. But I did lights for that. I did front of house for one of the Alice performances, and I watched it. So I was I was there at all the shows, which was quite funny. But the value of like the tech guys and the front of house lot as well, who do amazing work.
Yeah, obviously we need these people to make it work. Obviously we need tech to make the show work. We need the front of house and bar people to make it work with the audience and to get the money in, get the people in.
Yeah.
You know, it's all important.
And to just welcome them into this little world of our theatre. You know, and I think there's a lot of value to that. So you know, even if you're not doing a show, always.
Yeah, so I'll probably come do something on Bake Off, and then I will watch it.
Yeah.
But then, yes, I'm hoping to get into Weird Will, and then wherever Weird
Willy's Wonderland.
Oh no, no,
Weird Will of Willy's Wonderland.
Oh no. But after that, is when I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, at that point am I going to do something with Little? Am I going to go somewhere else?
Yeah, because
obviously I mentioned I want to do like original stuff.
Yeah.
Belfry. Simon directing Will. We've talked about original stuff.
Yeah, Belfry are good for like original content.
So, you know, even if it's not my own original stuff, if it's other people's original stuff, I just like being in original stuff. And doing something that no one's ever seen before. Like, that appeals to me.
Yeah.
So, like, if he's like, oh, I'm doing an original thing at this festival at Belfry, like, I'll be like, yeah, if you need me, absolutely.
Definitely, yeah.
So I think after the next shows, when it's going to be like, I don't know what I'm doing next.
Yeah.
Providing I get into Weird Will.
Willy's Wonderland. You know, I'm not going to let that down now. I'm going to keep doing that.
But yes, if I don't get in that play, then I really don't know what's going on. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. But just as I say,
I'm hoping. I think I probably sold myself pretty well with the show, and that they know what I can do now. Because obviously with us, when with Don't Dress for Dinner, no one knew me.
No,
I didn't have previous experience where I say you saw me in this, whereas you walked in as seen in Oh Shook Up. They'd seen you. Whereas for this, no one had seen me. All they had to do off was that intro read that we did, which luckily was enough.
Yeah.
But I was concerned there. But obviously now people have seen me in things. They know what I can do. And considering this is another comedy, I'd like to think that, I've got something going for me there.
Yeah, no, I'm interested to see how Weird Will of Willy's Wonderland turns out.
I have no idea really what it's about. I know that vague synopsis, but, we couldn't say too much because, there's a lot of twists apparently.
Yeah.
But I'm interested.
Yeah, that's always the best when you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
that's the thing with this show. The amount of people that I knew as well, though, like we'd never heard of the show. We didn't know what it was really about.
Like the only people I met who knew the show were my grandparents. Like no one else knew what this was.
But that's amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of, I suppose, so obviously you've got Weird Will. I've got Bake Off. In terms of from that point onwards, I'm not fully sure what's going to happen.
Yes, I think you're taking a bit of a break after that.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you're doing Frozen
with Tadlot.
So you're doing Frozen with Tadlot.
So I'm hoping to go back to Tadlot where it kind of all began.
Yeah.
With Bonnie and Clyde. One more show with them for the time being. Frozen, just end it on high, and then walk off into the sunset
until you finish uni.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and then I will hopefully be back. But my kind of stance on it is very much, if for whatever reason I can't ever do another show with you guys again and whatnot, I can at least say, I've done these, because I've done another show with you.
Mm.
I've finally got a lead role after all these years that I always wanted.
In an Elvis musical.
In an Elvis, that kind of 50s, 60s vibes that I always wanted to try and do, all this sort of stuff to. Yeah,
but now you can't be walking away right after I've come back, man.
I'll be back. Don't worry. But I will be taking a break towards the end of this year into next year.
Mm.
I will be taking a bit of a break. I think it's needed. I think especially with, I think I realised it on these two shows with Don't Dress for Dinner and Bake Off. Those two at the same time, plus uni work, plus work as well.
Yeah.
I realised I definitely would need to take a break for final year where all my focus has to be on that.
Yes.
And I think it's important to know, it's important, and it will help me. It'll help me miss it in a sense, If you keep on doing it, you'll get burnt out, And I fear if I were to do it any more, I would get burnt out fully, and I would just hate it.
Yeah.
And I'm not at that stage yet. I'm not at the stage where I hate it at all because I fucking love it. I'm in a position where I'm very lucky. I'm in a position where I've been cast and I've been able to do these lead roles for a good few shows now.
Yeah.
This is a position that a lot of people would envy, and if I were to just piss that up the wall and to be like, oh, it's not that important.
Yeah.
And well, not that it's not that important because obviously it is just for fun. But I mean in the sense of not valuing it.
Mm.
If I would kind of just pissed at the wall and just didn't value it and didn't think it mattered and just treated it quite blasé.
So blasé.
So blasé. Fucking great. It would be really arrogant. To me, that would be really arrogant. And I've seen people who do treat it, who can sometimes treat it like that, where they do treat, because, people who are very talented, but it gets their head. It gets their head. I do hope that if I did, you would slap me in the face.
Yes, same.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing. I always make sure that it's I don't want it to ever come across like that because I'm always grateful. I never, as we were saying with this, even though you kind of felt quite good about getting the roles, I still maintain that it's never a guarantee because you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
And so I always maintain that. But you can always hope for the best. That's always okay. Always hope for the best.
That's what I usually do. Yeah. But I really had a feeling on this one.
Yeah, I did have a hunch.
I had a really strong
feeling. I had a hunch, but as I say, I try not to let that get to my head. Because it could be very easy to do that.
Yes.
You're ready to get to see your head and you're be really cocky. It's like, oh, I fucking got this. Yeah. There's a difference between being confident and being cocky.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, I think this show is not at all what I expected it to be.
It wasn't for me either.
It was
not for me.
Far beyond anything I thought was going to be possible.
In terms of like everything from the casting to the plot to the
especially
response.
the plot.
Yeah. The dialogue.
How do you feel about a spot of incest? Insects in the sofa.
Oh man.
God.
My costume changes, man.
Yeah, man, nothing was what I expected, but this is genuinely the best play I've ever done. This is the best show I've ever done. I could not have imagined after finishing Annie that this would be what I came back to.
I mean, what a great... That's
because normally my usual sitch is Shakespeare.
Yeah.
That's my usual go.
This is anything but that. Yeah.
This is the furthest thing from it. This is the furthest, because normally it's like the Shakespeare I do is like Macbeth.
I mean, for fuck's sake, even All Shook Up was Shakespeare because it was based on Twelfth Night. Even that was Shakespeare.
And then I also did things like Christmas Carols. So I did a lot of the old style,
like classical stuff,
classics. Yeah. And then obviously I did Annie as my one musical.
And even that's a fairly old,
which is quite old, yeah. I did whatever the hell the thing with PQA was. Troubles are brewing out in Albuquerque.
What the fuck was that?
Where I was playing one of the village people, which I didn't realize until after the show ended.
Genuinely, though, what the fuck was that?
I don't know.
What was that?
I don't know.
Why did you do that?
And then we did Fairy Tale Fiasco.
We don't talk about Fairy Tale Fiasco.
And then we did Grease, which didn't happen. That was another musical. Ain't done nothing like this before. And then even then, the other thing I did with PQA that I ended up bailing halfway through was Crucible, which is another old piece. Really couldn't get behind it either. It was, God, it was a chore. Absolute chore of a read. But yeah, this is like the furthest thing from anything I've done, except maybe a proper pantomime, because Fairy Tale did not happen.
No.
Fairy Tale did not happen.
But we might be in a pantomime soon. Yeah, who knows?
Maybe who knows? Who knows? But I think this was a really good show, and I'm sad it's over though.
Yeah,
I'm very sad it's over because this has been my life for like the past half year now.
Yeah. But we've made some great memories from this, and as I say, I'm so proud that you've come back to do it because I never thought it would happen. I legit never thought that it would happen, that you would even be back on stage, let alone us together, let alone in a show like this.
It was special.
Let alone sharing that with everyone, as I said, sharing that with all people, like your family, your friends, my friend, like everybody.
Mm.
It was really. There's a lot of special moments for this one. Emphasis on special. No Hannah grew in the moment, Dan. Yes, you got it. You still got it. But no, it's been great.
The real gorgeous coat was the friends we made along the way.
And on that delightful note, thank you very much. Hang on. There we go. In center frame. Yeah. Thanks for watching. If you stayed around for this long. If you're of the viewers who watched the play, feel free to leave a review. If you're Neil, thank you. If
you're any of the cast and crew watching,
we love you.
Thank you for everything.
We love you so much.
Particularly as well, Neil, for casting. Thank you for giving me this chance, because obviously, I was a nobody, so you didn't know me. It
could have been a contender. I could have been somebody.
You didn't know me, so it was a risk, and obviously, especially for both of us, really, like we said earlier, it was a risk.
Yeah, exactly.
So thanks for taking that risk, because this has been like the best time ever, honestly.
And I hope that we proved you wrong. No, not
proved you right. Proved the doubters wrong.
That's right. Sorry, I'm tired, man.
I had to save him. I thought I was done saving in the show. I thought I was done saving for the week.
You'll never be done saving. You'll never be done saving.
Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.
And let us know if obviously with any more shows that we do. Obviously, as I say, Bake Off's coming up soon. We'll probably talk about that. I mean, you might have like the tech experience at that point. I'll have the performance. We can that'll be an interesting one if we do that. Then obviously Weird World when that comes about. But until then, you take care. Have a great day. And to anyone who was cast, crew, and watched it, we love you.